Persia, named directly by name, listed among the nations that come against Israel in the final chapter of history. The nation Ezekiel named is the same nation currently making Israel's elimination an explicit foreign policy declaration. You don't have to force that connection. It's sitting in the text waiting for anyone willing to look. But here's what the Bible never lets us forget. And this is the part that should settle something deep inside you. Every single empire that has made Israel's destruction its central mission has eventually collapsed. Egypt still exists, but not as a world power. Babylon is an archaeological dig. The Persian Empire fell to Greece. Greece fell to Rome. Rome fell to time. Israel is still here. That's not a political statement, it's a prophetic one. God said in Jeremiah 31:35-36 that Israel would cease to be a nation only when the sun, moon, and stars stop functioning. He literally tied the survival of Israel to the survival of the cosmos itself. That's how serious the covenant is. So when you watch the news and see this ancient rivalry playing out in satellite footage and breaking alerts, missiles, proxies, nuclear negotiations, regional alliances shifting overnight, remember what you're actually watching. You're watching the oldest promise in human history refusing to break. You're watching the God of Abraham still standing behind the word he gave in a tent under desert stars to one man who had no children yet and no land to stand on. Cyrus freed Israel and didn't fully know why. Haman tried to end Israel and didn't understand what he was actually fighting against. Esther stepped into a throne room terrified and became part of a story she could never have written herself. Daniel prayed with his window open, knowing the lions were waiting, and walked out the next morning while the empire stood silent with its mouth open. None of them saw the whole picture. They were each living inside one chapter of a story God had already finished writing. And so are we. The rivalry is real. The threat is real. The tension you feel when you watch the headlines is not paranoia, it's discernment. Something ancient is moving underneath the modern conflict. Something that was named in Genesis, traced through the prophets, and placed by Ezekiel into the final act of history. But so is the promise. And in every generation since Abraham, through every empire, every Haman, every lion's den, every exile, every attempt to erase what God declared permanent, the promise has outlasted the threat. It still will.